Do you think that, like, let's say when the fight is all said and done, do you think that anyone will actually, will Joe Cortez actually come out and speak on, the sparring? Will he say, yeah, I called it a no knock? Like, do you think anyone will speak on it, or do you think they'll just all keep their mouth?
My opinion is this. I'm not sure what they did with Cortez. It's very very probable that they have a permanent gag order on him where, they can sue him for their money back if he speaks about the sparring ever, so I think he wouldn't risk it. As far as them releasing the video, I think what they've said in the past few days probably solidifies the fact that they'll never release the video. And what I mean by that is Conor talking about how it was a one-sided beating and they gave me a concussion. Dana White talking about it was a one-sided beating and whatnot. Now you can never release the video because you're going to look stupid, when people don't see that. People don't see anything close to that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's eliminated the possibility that this ever comes out in an unedited version. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if they figure out what other ways to clip this, But if you get each round 3 minutes and then all 12 rounds 36 minutes, I find it very, very, very difficult to believe that it'll ever come out at this point.
Wow. So does this change anything for you as far as, obviously you're going to be commentating and everything. Does it change, your perception of Conor as far as, his in the ring, what's going to happen or anything like that?
No, I mean, I have the tactical stuff we'll discuss on Fight Night. I don't have to like a guy, to work his fight. I mean, I've done that before, and, you just call a fight. I mean, being an analyst and giving an opinion is pretty easy. Any Joe Schmo can do that. I pride myself on my X's and O's breakdowns, and those I pride myself a lot, and that's what I look forward to doing on Fight Night is X's and O's. You leave very little room for opinion when you're able to break down X's and O's and tactical stuff that other guys can't do.
Well, and at the very least, they already got you analyzing film early, so.
yeah, exactly. I've broken down all the film for people. It's funny, mixed martial arts fans, they're a funny bunch. Like usually when I break down film, this particular version obviously is my film, but and I break down film in general and I tell you how it is and what's landing and what's not landing or why something is happening or a reason for this or that. And people understand and they choose to learn. These people just want to be stupid. They don't want to learn. They don't want to believe what any kind of breakdown I'm giving. So it'll be interesting on Fight Night. If they don't hear what they want to hear, then obviously they won't agree with it and they'll be mad, But this is the cheerleading part. This is the commentating team, and the commentating team has to break down the analysis the way it's presented.
Wow. Is there anything that Floyd could take away from that video? I mean, obviously you mentioned the fouling and stuff like that. Does that just slide the advantage ball more into his court now that he has been able to see some?
I think anytime you release footage, you're giving the other fighter an advantage, because you're giving them a chance to see what looks you're giving. You're giving them a chance to see, obviously a couple of tendencies, which in this case, the only tendencies you really see in this case is the constant either holding behind the head or rabbit punching. That's the one constant in the entire video. There's not even constant landed punches because the fall down sequence there's no landed punches at all, and then the other sequence from the other round there's landed punches. But there's just stuff that the consistent thing you see in both sequences is holding behind the head and rabbit punching. So if anything, you take that out of it, if anything, and that's unfortunately something Team McGregor has done now. They've opened that can of worms to where now everybody can see that. But of course, there's advantages you give anytime you release footage in general. Like I said, the looks you're giving, I think that's very important. I think fighters, a smart fighter will, process, different looks in general. That's why a good fighter knows how to constantly change looks and what looks to give and whatnot. But there's looks you're giving, and now you're giving some of those away, and so on and so forth.
Did you see any of his media workout that he did?
Yeah, I saw some of the media workout. I mean, it was bad, though, man. A piece of me thinks that's why they released the sparring footage the night of the media workout, kind of to take away the attention from how lousy he looks in the media workout.
Well, how, like when you say lousy, like how like can you be specific as far as what you thought was? I mean, here's the things that kind of stood out to me real quick, and then you can kind of verify if that's what you saw. First of all, the footwork, it just looked odd the way he kept switching, and there was no rhyme or reason behind it. But second of all, I think this was the thing that kind of stood out to me a little bit more. I didn't really like his technique of throwing punches. Like I didn't. It seemed like he wasn't turning over the same way that a professional boxer would. It was almost like he was using his MMA style of fighting as opposed to boxing style.
Well, I think the fact that he doesn't turn his punches over is obvious even in the video that you see. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing I need to say. It's obvious even in the video that you see. He's smacking with the punches. He's a lot of them are arm punches. He's not turning over. He's not planning correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that's one of the problems a boxer faces when you don't know who you are. He fancies himself as a puncher.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And every grown man hits to a certain degree with a little bit of power, some more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you're going to maximize whatever power you have, you got to throw correctly. Because in boxing, you're dealing with fighters who know how to throw correctly and have dealt with punchers who throw correctly. So when you show up and you don't know what you're doing in that regard, you're giving up a big advantage to your opponent. So it's very important to understand who you are and who you aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's going to be a tough night.
One other question I'm just curious about, the whole 8-ounce glove issue. Is that, I mean, like you said, he fancies himself as a puncher, but I mean, we really don't know how hard he can punch in actual boxing gloves. Do you think, it seemed to me like Floyd was the one who's really, really pushing this 8-ounce glove issue. Like he is the one that wants the smaller gloves. Number one, do you think there's a particular reason why Floyd wants the 8-ounce gloves? And number two, is that an advantage for Floyd or is that an advantage for Conor?
I think the advantage is for both in this regard. Conor psychologically thinks he gives him the advantage. You know what I'm saying? So he thinks, with 8-ounce gloves, somebody will do better. Whatever reason, and if it's because he thinks he's a puncher or whatnot, whatever reason, he wants the 8-ounce gloves. For Floyd Mayweather, the 8-ounce gloves are an advantage because he's fought punchers already with 8-ounce gloves. He fought Marcos Maidana. That stands out as a major puncher. Marcos is, I would bet all types of farmland that Marcos is a bigger puncher than Conor McGregor.
Mm.
And then I think also, it's you can maybe make your opponent, Conor McGregor, become more aggressive than he'd like to be and set him up traps. You know what I'm saying? That's possible as well. Conor feeling himself in those 8-ounce gloves, maybe he comes out of pocket a little too much and starts, and you can set those traps because Floyd is a trap setter. So I think there's advantages for both. Both can take something out of the 8-ounce gloves being used. And obviously the public perception will be what it is, and it'll get people talking. And that's kind of the big thing when you're talking about a fight like this. You want people talking.